Welcome, welcome. Tonight we're going to talk about Diane 4019. It's the October PoM for another week. We only have a week left in October. 4019, Diane's wrap. We decided it was going to be called Diane's wrap, not a dress, because I didn't make it once as a dress. Only because I figured if it was a dress, y'all know how to do that. So I just made a lot of tunics. I wear them more with leggings, and so it was like my favorite plan. So I made some really fun things, and I'm really excited about my new wardrobe. So the goal is to help you get through this pattern, make it simple, make it fun, and then see all the variables. I'm just a really big believer that one pattern can do a lot of different things. And so that's the goal of tonight, is to help you see variety. That's the goal. Okay, so you guys know that if you have questions as we go along the way, just ask. Tonight what we did is we're putting whatever fabric we used, we put that number on the photo, or on the drawing as to how to create, the pattern changes. Typically we have one photo that's the photo itself, the inspiration, and then we have another photo that's the how-to. And the fabric number is going to be on one of those two. And it's not that I won't say it, but that way it'll keep us from repeating it many, many times. So all you have to do is go to where the photo is, and the photo will have the fabric number on it, okay? Okay, so hopefully that'll kind of help things go a little smoother. All right, so I love this dress. When we talk about dresses, I know I've mentioned this before, but we have a t-shirt dress and a blouse dress and a jacket dress. And basically a dress is just when we talk about those 5 basic pieces, we talk about the bodice front, the bodice back, the skirt front, the skirt back, and the sleeve. So a dress is using all of those pieces. And it's using all of those pieces because the bodice and the skirt is put together. And so we've got one piece. So that sleeve, though, changes out. And if it's a knit sleeve, then it becomes a t-shirt dress. If it's a blouse sleeve, it becomes a blouse dress. If it's a jacket sleeve, it becomes a jacket dress. So just recognize that a dress is not a dress is not a dress. The sleeve differentiates what type of dress it is based on fabric. So this particular dress is a blouse dress. The sleeve is a blouse sleeve, and it's the same sleeve as number 600. So what I did, and what I would recommend you all do, is simply make it up to start with. Choose your size, choose your cup size, and just make it up, and that's what I did. And this is fabric number 5854. Love this, just love it. It's fairly new fabric that I put up, and I just really like it. And the reason I made it is so that I could put this on my little mannequin, and we could drape it, and you could see some typical issues that you might have, okay? And when I say these typical issues, these are issues that I see a lot in fitting classes, and I get a lot of emails from you all, okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is that if you automatically do a rounded back, don't do it in this right off the bat, because this has princess seams, and those princess seams are in the upper back, so you have darting in the upper back. So don't just automatically slash and add, make up a muslin and see if this works, okay? The angle of the shoulder, that's something you can always change. Right here, right there, those angular drag lines, those are cup sizing. And so I just grabbed a pin here so that I could show you that if I make a dart here, you can see that those angular lines go away. And so you don't want to put a dart here. This isn't going to be in the finished garment, but it's going to go from the side seam, and you can see it'll taper to nothing at the princess seam, and you can see I can take all those away. And then you'll do the same from the side seam. I'll put the sleeve up so you don't see it anymore. It goes from the side seam to the back. And typically, if you have this alteration, it couples itself many times with a sway back. So you might just take it all the way through the back if you need to, but just make sure that, now some people when they're doing this, they are using a B cup and they could use a C cup. They're using a C cup, they should be using a D cup. But if you're using a D cup, that's the largest cup size we have, then you don't have any choice except to go ahead and pin this out. fix it that way, and then fix the back accordingly. Remember that in a princess seam, I don't need to worry about any length adjustments to get the cup sizing or the cup in the right place. That's no worries there. If you need to narrow the shoulder, you want to use this piece, the center front piece, not the side piece. Don't try to do it at the armhole. Just do it right along this section right here, because this piece is narrow, and if you narrow that piece, it'll just get out of proportion. It'll just be too small. So use this main body piece here, and then use the back accordingly also. That's a great way to narrow the shoulder. So we've got rounded back, angled shoulder, narrow shoulder, cup size adjustment. That's probably about it. Those are really the only changes I get. Remember that if you make up a size and you've got tons of changes, you're probably in the wrong size. We should be tweaking, not overhauling. I know I say that a lot, but I'm really sincere in that. There's many times where I'm in a workshop and it's just the wrong size, and I don't mind draping it, and I always say I don't mind draping it. The problem is you're going to have to do a lot more work making the changes. I really think that if we've made a muslin and we've done it, just front, back, you know, there's only 2 pieces here and 2 pieces here, then we're good. This is a blouse sleeve, so we can use the same sleeve that we have with a blouse. You'll see that tonight, like the one I have on, because it's a knit, I subbed in and I used the sweater set sleeve, and I used the same armhole. So I used my templates to make sure that I switched that up. Okay, any questions? Are we okay with that little intro there and to the beginning? Okay, so this will help us fit. This doesn't do this on me, so I'm not going to make these changes because I didn't need to make those changes. But I love this. On this one, just for fun, I put a little elastic in the back. It doesn't need it, but just my waist is smaller than my bust. You know, like when I go by the size, my waist is smaller. So I could take these in when the princess seams. In this particular case, I just put some elastic through the back there. I'm new to princess seams. Where should the princess seam fall along the bust? This is a good question because even those who are not new to princess seams kind of really don't know this. Over the apex or to the outside of the bust circle. So that's a style question. As long as the princess seam goes from the top of the garment to the bottom of the garment, by definition, and it just intersects the bust dart and the waist dart, or combines the bust dart, sorry I said that wrong, combines the bust dart and the waist dart, and as long as it goes through the bust circle, it doesn't matter. And typically you just don't want it to go over your bust point. That's just, I think that's poor design, personally. You just want it to be anywhere inside the bust circle. So I've seen jackets where they have a princess seam and they're right on the edge of that inside of the bust circle. And it almost looks like a front facing or just a front piece, but it's actually the princess seam because it's just right on the edge of the bust circle. And I've seen them way over to the side. So there's all kinds of styles out there. Just know that as long as it's within the bust circle, we're good to go, and I'll get the fit. They're all about fit, and they're all about changing fit from top to bottom. All right, so we'll move this back a little bit, and then we'll start to play. Okay. All right, so let's look at some photos. I want to look at this first one here. The reason I put this up is this is the one I just showed you, this maroon wine color one. The reason I did that is because when you look at a wrap dress, typically when we have had a wrap dress in the past, and when I was looking to do one, my big concern was how to keep the wrap dress wrapped. And so what we know about wrap dresses is they gap horribly, they don't stay fastened. You know, whenever we see women with wrap dresses, we see pins at the bust line holding them together. All of those problems we associate with wrap dresses. So I found this picture because I really wanted you to see that and you know, I'm not saying that that's not okay or that is okay, but typically we want to be able to control it. If we want to expose the bust line, that's fine. But a lot of times we don't want to, and it happens anywhere in a wrap dress. So I want you to look at this picture because you can see that the way this typical wrap is done, and because the elements of the wrap dress, where it comes from the base of the neck and wraps across to the waist on the side, there's no way except to open up the neckline in between. So the main reason I did this pattern was because this had a collar. This original dress that I found, this wrap, and I fell in love with it, had a collar. And what the collar enables it to do is actually cover way more neckline than without the neckline. Like, I'm going to do some without the neckline. I'm going to show you the difference. But that was the reason I fell in love with it, is because I thought, oh, finally a wrap dress that actually covers and can be a wrap dress and not just some open neckline that, you know, is really exposed. So you can see that with the collar in place, it really is just beautiful. It doesn't need any pins. That can't come unwrapped. I've got this side here I just did with a hook here, and then the inside I tied. And you can see, especially too, because how tight this is, there's no way for that to gap. So this is just a really great base, and it works really, really well. I love it. I just love the combination and how functional it is, and how versatile it is. Because I'm going to take away that collar here in a minute, and I'm going to take away that, you know, that whole neckline in the pattern, and you're going to see that you can create both. But it's easier to take away than it is to add it in. So I made sure that you had the collar and the neckline, you know, done this way, and then we could go from there. Okay, so that fabric number is the number of this red that you're looking at. Just FYI, so you know. We don't have that sweater knit. I'm not trying to do that. I was just trying to introduce the wrap dress to you. Hello from Tennessee. How do you alter a princess seam pattern for a high round back? So I wouldn't alter this pattern. Now we're not talking generically. I'm just talking this one. I don't think, I have not had a princess seam that I've had to slash and add in a workshop that I can remember. Maybe I have, but I can't remember. So just make it up. Don't do any alterations if you have to. The collar will be some issues, but typically this has enough depth in the back that you won't need to worry about it. Okay? Okay, so let's go to the next picture. All right, so I saw this in this little wrap top. I just thought it was really cute. This was a little bit summery. I didn't want it to be summery. I wanted it to be more fall, but I definitely stole this idea and I put it into this lace. And so what I did is, just like that top, if you look at it, it's a wrap, and then it's gathered and it's got a little peplum. I made it longer because I wanted it to be a little longer. And the strings are not for me, but I always show you the inspiration because I want you to decide that if you want the ties, you can do those ties. Ties for me, especially on my arms and legs, they always, you know, make me think I have a mosquito below my knee, or, you know, I'm always swat. They just drive me crazy. But I love the look, and I love this and what we did. So let's look at how we did it. Let's look at the next picture. Okay, so these are all the pattern changes. I first did a kimono sleeve, so you do the same to the front as you do to the back. So I showed you how to put that kimono sleeve on. You fold it in half, you lap it right here, you gap it at the bottom, and you just create this curve. You do the same amount, and I gave you the numbers as to how much I made it come out. Now for me, when I put this on, the elastic is right above my elbow, and then it just covers over my elbow, and I just love it. This black lace pattern is fabric number 5819. I did take away the collar, and so I showed you on there how to do that. Just use your French curve, just take it away. Now in this particular case, you can see where it's lapped here. I stitched that down just because I didn't really want it flapping. And then on the inside, it's just elastic. And I took my 2-inch white elastic, I cut it 1/4 inch strips, and then just elasticized. I measured my waist to make it equal to my waist, and then of course what the pattern was, and I just stretched it as I went around. It's just easy and cute and quick. Now with this particular lace, this particular lace is like roses. It's really cute. The edges here, I didn't finish at all. Because it's lace, I just left these edges raw, and I like it. You could scallop them, you could kind of cut out the roses, you could do all kinds of fun things with that. And the bottom I left raw. I just really liked that also. The neckline I finished because I felt like it'd just be too much stress on the neckline. It's a woven. I mean, it's a stretch, I should say. It's a stretch lace, but I just felt like it needed some stability at the neckline. So I went ahead and just serged it, turned it over, and top stitched. On the lace, I put a white underneath here, but wouldn't it be pretty like with a cowl underneath? And just with a black cowl, and I know if you can kind of imagine that, pattern number 550. I mean, I just put a little white shell in there because I wanted you, if I knew if I put black, you wouldn't be able to see anything. But I think that black on black would be really pretty for the holidays with jeans. You know, doesn't have to be dressy, but I think it'd be really just a fun denim look to go anywhere. Okay, so questions on that? Again, it's the lace is 58.19, and I used 2 yards to do that. What's the difference between this and the no gap wrap blouse? The no gap wrap blouse is just shorter, is all. It has a shirt tail hemline, and when you take a blouse and take it into a dress, there's a few angular tweaks you have to do because the body changes direction, so you don't necessarily have to get this pattern. You're better off to buy the dress, not the blouse. But if you have the blouse and don't want to buy the dress, then just when you make the dress this very first time, when you go back to do this, watch the bottom of the dress. Your bottom of your dress will probably not be straight, and you just have to do some darting around the waistline to make that bottom straight. And that's been done in this pattern as opposed to the no gap wrap. Okay? Okay. So that was fun. I love this black lace. It's really fun. But we got more fun to come. More fun to come. All right, so we'll go to the next picture. And this is where I started getting excited. This was the fun because this Sherpa that we got in, it's a faux Sherpa. I mean, it's just like the bomb. It's so cute. It's olive green. It's like the most perfect fabric for this season ever. Just too much fun. And the asymmetric, I just loved it. So I put this big little button here. It's just really fun. One button at the waist. The soutache cording just wraps around it. I put a cord stop at the bottom. It is so cute. And then we were talking in the store on Saturday because we had the fabric in the store on Saturday. And we were talking about how fun the fabric was and that we'd have to make a hat. And I didn't make a hat, but I made this cool little, you know, like when you go skiing and you need a neckband, do I dare even put this on? You know, so is that cute? So what I did is I just measured. This has got some stretch to it, the fabric does. So I just measured underneath my hair up here and got how long it was, and then I did this like 8 inches wide. I wanted, you could have more width to it than I had because it'd be kind of cool to make it even wider than this, or you could even do like a neckband out of it, but it's so cozy and warm, I just love it. So I thought it'd be kind of cute to just wear those together too. It'd be really fun if you're walking outside or, you know, the underneath one though is 125, and I love this look together. 125 is Leanne's top. It's a PBS pattern. It's that donation pattern, 1819. I've got that one this Saturday. We're going to do the sew along, but this 125 is what comes with it, and it's awesome. It's just a great look. So that is available if you want to get that duo. But this is just easy and fun. I did do a little bit of gathers here in the back. Just love this vest. I mean, I just really like hunter green. I didn't tell you the fabric number. I'm sorry. 5855. You only need a yard. And it's, you know, these fabrics that we've gotten in lately, we've gotten a lot from Theory, and we know Theory is really good quality. But even more so, there's one company in particular from Spain, and the company is called Kate, except it's spelled Khiate. So, but it's pronounced Kate. And the fabrics are just like, they're just luscious. I mean, they are just next level. So I've been really excited about the fabrics we have in the store, and you know, you'll see them. You'll see them coming up, but they're just really pretty. What is the pattern for the lace top? Okay, so this whole webcast is the PoM. every pattern that you're seeing is the same pattern. It's the PoM. It's 4019. Does the 10" on the sleeve refer to the circumference of the sleeve? I'd have to go back to that picture. Would you go back to that lace picture for the parts just for 1 second, Benjamin, please? The 10 inches, where's the 10 inches? Oh yes, it does refer to the circumference. So you might need your sleeve to go more than 10 inches because you want to have a little bit of gathering here. So I went out and then I went down 10. Now, so my arm, for instance, measures 10 inches around. And so when I know this is 20 inches, I can do the gathering and I'm still gonna have enough space. And especially if I wanted to put a sleeve under it, I thought I would want to leave a little extra. So you want to have enough for gathers and you want to have enough that it's not too tight on your arm. Okay? So yeah, that's what that's for. Okay? The website does not direct us to most of your videos. Is this going to change? No, they're all on YouTube. Everything you need is on YouTube, and all you do is search for whatever you're looking for. Every video we do automatically goes to YouTube. And then once you get inside of our channel, you can search for what you're looking for, and you can find it. You can put it by date. You know, they kind of do it all for us. I don't know that we really need them on the website. If you guys can tell me why you need them on the website, I know they were on, but if you can tell me why, let me know, okay? Hey, Peggy. I've made up 125, but I find it doesn't hug my neck like on your mannequin. Can you show us how one would make a dart because it is on the fold? Thanks. The new website does not, okay, yeah. Okay, so you don't need a dart. You just have to have two-way stretch fabric. You have to have two-way stretch fabric when you're doing that pattern. So most of you use a one-way stretch, and when you put the collar out, you don't put it on the greatest stretch of the fabric. And so that's what causes the gapping. It doesn't need a dart because the neckline, now it could be also that the base of the neckline is not close enough to your neck, and you may need to snug that up before you wrap the collar around, but this collar just follows what the neckline is doing. It could be, and so if there's a problem there, it's because the neckline is incorrect, not because of the collar. Does that make sense? Okay, let me know. Okay, so let's look at the next picture. Fun stuff. All right, this is the green vest. What does that say on there? Sorry, I can't read that. What does it say? Oh, so, okay, yeah. Those pattern pieces are just telling you, I took 10 inches off the bottom of the dress, just so you know how long to make it, or how long you want it to be. 10 inches is what I took off on mine. All right, so this next look is, we're gonna go back over to here, is, you know, I love zippers, you all know that. I love zippers, love zippers. I must have some kind of fascination with them. But so I was looking through different wrap dresses, and I found this one in particular, and this is Acris, and I love that zipper neckline. And then I was answering emails, and I got an email from a lady who wanted to know what pattern I was using on a certain show. Anyway, it turned out it was the wrap dress, and it had a zipper in it, and it was really similar to Acris. They're still having zippers in wraps, and so I just really liked that, and I had completely forgotten kind of about it. So I decided I would go back, and this is not current. This is the one I actually wore in the show, but I wanted to go back and give you some suggested fabrics that you could use with it, okay? So this has the tie underneath here, and then it has a dual separating zipper. So you can actually, you know, open that up as much as you want, and you can make this work like a little clasp. And then obviously in the sleeve here, I duplicated the zipper over here. Now I'm certain I had copied this from something. I can promise you that this was not my idea. But there's a dual separating zipper over here also, and that sets the sleeve in. I just think it's just adorable. So we brought it back out. I'm going to give you some numbers, and I put those numbers on that page of fabrics that I thought would be outstanding on them currently. And so if you just read those numbers, I don't need to read them, but you can see those numbers. There's a red velvet would be amazing. There's a black velvet in there. There's a really beautiful pink wool. It's a stretch wool. It's a deep pink. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. Those fabrics, all of those fabrics, we just didn't really have enough. And then there's also 5838. It's a royal blue, and I know there's only a couple yards left of that. So very similar look. This is also a knit sleeve. And so here we've come from the blouse sleeve, and we use the blouse sleeve. The vest, we use no sleeve underneath it. And then here we come full circle now, and we're using this would be a t-shirt dress as opposed to a blouse dress. Okay, just as long as we understand the differences. I just want to make sure you understand the differences. Today is the pattern of the month for October. Number 4. Yeah, this is the October PoM, right? Am I in the right month? Maybe I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, you guys. But I think this is October still. And this is the PoM for October. You know, the time does go really fast. And the pattern of the month, I think it's 4019, unless I've gotten, you know. It's funny, one time we were on the studio at PBS, and I was all set to do a show, and they said, no, that's the wrong show. And I'm like, uh-oh. So it has happened before, so don't scare me, you guys. This is October. This is October PoM, and the PoM for October is 4019, Diane's wrap dress. Diane von Furstenberg. The wrap dress started in the 60s, I think she brought it out, and #1 selling dress of all time. She wasn't actually the creator of a wrap. There had been several wraps before her, but the marketing of this wrap is what she was really known for. And it literally went around the world. And I mean, you know, she retired on the wrap dress. She made one dress, and she made many more dresses. But boy, the wrap and all the variations, it's endless, you guys, what you can do with this pattern. So what I really wanted to bring you was a pattern that wrapped and didn't gap. And that's a problem with a lot of the wraps, even the ones you buy in the store. They just gap. Is the blue top with zipper details made with scuba or a ponte? Neither. This is 100% stretch wool. Okay, it's a beautiful piece. But if you look at that pink, I think that pink is a stretch wool. The number of that pink is 5807. I think that's a stretch wool. They're beautiful. I mean, really, they're so fine, and they have, a lot of times they have stretch in both directions. And they just really, they're just pretty. All right, so this is easy enough. You can see that I took the zipper and just went right, you know, here I put it between the facing and the front. Here I put it right into the seam. So when you're sewing it, just start at the bottom, come up until it quits. And then over here, one end is here, one end is in the back, and they come up to the top. And when they came up to the top, because obviously the separating zipper was too long, I just cut it off and lapped it. Can we come close in and show that? I just cut it off here and lapped those edges. So you can see there's a little gap. And obviously when you have it on, your little arm peeks out. It's cute. It's just really cute. But it's very simple to make, and again, it's just the idea that I stole from somewhere, I'm sure. And if you get cold, you could zip it up more. I'm kidding. You don't want to zip it up that much. If you get cold, you don't wear it in the winter, or you put a coat on, one of those two things. Okay, all fun. All right, how do you insert the back elastic casing or sew at top and bottom? So let's do one that you can probably see. I guess you could probably see this one. We'll turn this around. So I have a tendency, #1, I don't like them really wide. This all is personality, you guys. I don't like them real wide, about 1 inch at the most. So I cut my elastic about 1.5 inches. And actually I had the same elastic on both of these. I cut this 1/4 inch and the rest of it 1/4 and 1/4, and the rest of it I used for this. So leave some elastic up and bottom. Measure from the side seam, say, I think mine was 20 inches from one side to another. And I wanted it to be 1.5 to 1. So that means I cut my elastic at 15. So if you take 20 and divide by 4 and give 3 of those 5 to the elastic, so your elastic is 15, the back is 20, 1 to 1.5. Because if you gathered up too much, if you go 2 to 1, it's just going to look silly. It's too much for women's ready-to-wear. Women's ready-to-wear is generally 1.5 to 1. So I cut my elastic 15 inches. Mark, measure from the bottom, put it on. You know, I just measure those 4 places. And then you anchor it in the side, stretch evenly, and just pull and sew. And I put a couple pins on the inside so that I can keep going straight. And it's really quick and really simple, and I think it looks great. I just think it looks so nice. When I see women wearing jackets and they've got either fitted or a little bit of gathers in the back, I just love the way it looks. I think it's so pretty. Would you please unzip the wrap so we can see the inside? Sure. Which one? Any of them? Inside. The inside of a wrap, guys, is not real exciting. But I will do. There's the tie over here. That's it. The facing is doubled. You know, I mean, there's a front and a front facing. And then a side panel and a back. You know, pretty simple. Okay? Does the zipper in the sleeve start at the base of the armhole? No, I didn't go all the way down because you don't really want an armhole. You don't really want a zipper under your arm. So I actually left that open. And so the zipper starts like right around the notch in the front and to the notch in the back. That's a good place. And then just leave the underneath. You can either sew it together or you can just leave it open, whatever you decide. It's not going to show it is under your arm, but I just figured I didn't want a zipper in my armpit is really what I kind of decided. And especially, remember, this is a knit armhole, so it's, you know, it's fairly small. Okay? Okay, so let's talk about the top I have on. And this started with a little bit of inspiration from you all. So let's look at this picture. Fusible interfacing? No. Well, you know, I mean, depends on the fabric you use. Depends on, does the blue fabric have fusible interfacing? No. No, that's just the back of the fabric. Yeah. Nope, no fusible. I didn't use fusible on any of these. You could, but the fabrics today are getting better and better and better. And I find fusibles typically used, I use it more in the summer than I do in the winter. I do, but it doesn't mean you won't use it in the winter, but I find wools, that's probably not true, but I don't know why. I have a tendency to use it more in the summer than I do in the winter. Okay, so let's look at this next picture. And this was sent to me by you all because you wanted a shawl collar on the wrap and you wanted this petal at the bottom. And so I did the shawl collar. I see how the petal, if you look at it, when it opens up, it kind of comes up higher. I don't care for that. So I did my curve, but I'll show you how to make it more like the picture than what I did if you like that. So the fabric I used has stretch in both directions. Love this fabric. It's beautiful to work with. It's amazing. It's 58-58. But let's take a look now at the changes and show you how to do a shawl collar. Okay, and I love this shawl collar. Absolutely love it. You have all the pieces you need. All you have to do is make a couple changes and you can go from there. Okay, so let's look at these changes. Obviously there's no change. Now this is a knit for me, so I used my knit armhole and my sweater set sleeve. Okay, so smaller armhole and smaller sleeve. But so there's no changes to the back, there's no changes to the side back, there's no changes to the side front. The only piece I'm changing, other than length, you guys know that, the only piece I'm changing now is that front piece. And if you notice, I placed the collar on the front piece. And the two alignment points, when I go to put the collar, if you look at this photo, the two alignment points are the base of the neck, and that's marked on your collar pattern, the base of the neck, this is shoulder seam, and the center front, and they're both marked. So you position the collar there. The back of the collar will equal to the back because the collar equals that pattern. It goes with that pattern. And then all you're going to do is style the front. And you're going to style the front. Now you can see that's the top portion. And then what makes this petal part here is the curve. Now what the photo did though, is the curve should go all the way to the side seam. And I didn't. I took the curve and only went to the princess seam. So I have a curve in the front of mine, but it's not all the way to the side seam and giving you that kind of inverted look that the photo has. So just FYI, if we go back to that photo for just 1/2 a second, let's look and see, notice where the curve, the angle goes all the way to that side seam. And that just, I don't know, for some reason I just didn't care for that. But everybody, that's why I'm showing you how to do it, so you guys can do what you want. But I love the shawl collar on that. I just think it's beautiful. And it's fun to play around with, and it's fun to learn because you can kind of do what you want with that, and you can't screw it up. I mean, you just can't really screw it up. The collar width is already predetermined. The collar lengths are all predetermined. All you're doing is drawing in this front. And if you have any shawl collars in your closet, you can go in, you can close them up, and you can see how far past center front they go. And then, you know, you can kind of duplicate it or just have fun. Just use your French curve and just connect and then curve out the bottom. Okay? That has gathers on all through the waistline, and so what I did is I actually, instead of, when I was cutting this out, instead of bringing it in, I left all the shaping out. I just dropped it straight so that it would have a little bit of fullness through the body. I knew I wanted to wear it with a little belt. I didn't want a self-made belt like that has, which that's just my choice. But when I did the belt, I knew there would be a little bit of gathering underneath it because I made the waist thicker than what I knew would fit me. So that's how I did that. Just fun stuff, you guys. It's a beautiful dress. Okay, so if we go to this next picture, I want to show you this. I just love this. I just thought this was so pretty. And again, notice how that wrap, when it wraps and it goes all the way from the base of the neck all the way to the side seam, notice how high it has to go at the side seam. It does not go to her waist. Otherwise, if it goes to your waist, the neck becomes exposed. I think as we go through this tonight, that's the #1 thing I want you to really understand. You can't really go from the neck to the waist and not have something be low because that, you know, the anatomy prevents it. So I wanted you to see this, how the wrapping is higher on the side seam, and that creates more modesty through the V-neck. Now, I loved this fabric, and we have a fabric similar. I don't know if it's similar, but I thought it was perfect. But we have so little of it that I just didn't want to use it all and then not have any left. So just that fabric is 5472, and I think I wrote that on there. Yeah, 5472. So that just look at the fabric, even if you don't get it or whatever, and just see how, and what you want is, you want the angles, but then you have to put a seam in at the waist so that they change directions, which is very easy to do. Remember, when you go back and do this original one, this first one, I would strongly suggest that when you put it on, mark your waist. Put a tape measure around your waist and mark it so that, you know, with pins or magic marker, so that when it's laid flat, you can see where the waist is. And that way, when you do go to make a dress like this, you can just add seam allowance and you know where your waist is. So you can make it a top, you can add something different on the bottom, you can make a jumpsuit, you could do pants on the bottom, it'd be adorable. So keep in mind that when you do your original one, mark it so that when it's laying flat, you know where your waist is. And just remember, waists are not straight. Waists are definitely not straight. Hey, we forgot to give away a pattern. It's not too late. I mean, we still got time, right? Yeah, we're going to give away a pattern, you guys. I forgot. Okay, so donated by one of you all. And then we'll come back to this. There's a few more things I want to talk about. But we're going to give away pattern number 100. Now, this pattern is not available anymore. It's Eileen's pocket blouse. Eileen Fisher, the front of the blouse folds up. It's just lovely blouse. But anyway, it's not available, so this is a good find. And we'll tell you when you're ready, and we'll tell you the code once we're ready here in a minute. And then we'll just wait and see who wins. Okay, so the code, just put in a 100. So for 100, obviously, is the number. And again, for those of you who are watching after the fact and not live, this is only live. I think everybody's now getting it, but I used to see all the time in the comment section, they would type in the number or they'd type in the code, and it's too late. If you're watching it on not live, then it's, it's not going to happen. So pattern number 100 is 100. Okay? Okay, and we'll come up with a winner here in just a minute. Is the shawl collar similar to pattern, is the shawl collar similar to pattern 214? I don't know. I didn't even use 214, to be honest. It's a shawl collar, and I made this into a shawl collar. I didn't use that for the styling. I just drew the styling. But if you have 214 and you like that styling, you could use that as a basis to do the styling. So styling is just personal choice. And so whether it comes from another pattern or something in your closet, all of those things are good. Any of those things are good. I think in the beginning, just when you start doing styling, knowing that you're just kind of freehanding it, you get a little nervous, but if you have 214 and if you've made it and you like it, I think that's a great suggestion to use it and to, create the styling off that. We still going? Okay, you're still putting it in. So we'll let it go for just another minute. Yep, perfect. Pattern 100, Eileen's pocket dress. The pattern is not available. So if you have it, good news. If you don't have it, hopefully you'll win. All right, it's getting cold here, you guys. It's getting cold everywhere, all over the country, except if you're in, like, Miami. It's warm there, which is where I want to be. So. No, I love it. It's fall. It's beautiful. The leaves, everything is so pretty right now. And we have a winner. All right. Okay, Liz Arthur is the winner. So Liz, just in case you've never watched before, what you have to do is email me, Peggy@silhouettepatterns.com. You'll actually get this pattern because it's the only one we have. But if you'll email me and say that you won pattern 100, give us your address, we will mail it out to you. Okay, we actually do mail them out. Okay, I did want to mention too that pattern 3020, the leggings, is my favorite pattern of choice with this dress because I don't make it as a dress. But even if it was a dress, you know what, you could put, I'm seeing leggings under dresses all the time now. And it makes a lot of sense because they're so warm. We got more Lulu in, and so there's a little bit of Lulu still on the site. And the best thing about Lulu is how nice and thick it is. It is so warm, it's unbelievable. So I splurged, I made myself a new pair of Lulus. And I love them, I love them. You guys know how long it takes to make leggings. It's about a 20-minute project. It's pretty quick. Okay, so now were we to the end of those photos? We were. Okay, so we had gotten through all the photos. I just wanted to talk about the wrap. I just want you to understand that the wrap is an interesting name for the dress because it unwraps a lot, and we know that, and we know why. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is on the neck edge, when you go to take the neck edge away, or when you go to take the collar away, there's the French curve. If you flip it convex rather than concave, you'll cover more of the neckline. Okay, so just don't draw a straight line when you go to take it away, and I showed that in some of the pictures that I did, but just flip it and make sure that it's convex, so the rounded side's out, and it will look straight, but it will just cover more of your neckline. If you want to show off more of your neckline, you're going to bow it in, you're going to make it concave, and it will show off more of your neckline. So that's really easy. I came in late. Can you still order the neckline band templates? No, I think we took them down. I mean, I think they're up, but I don't think they have an order button. We had to get a count. We had to get it in. They're being made. So we had to have, you can buy them after the fact. We did a promotion for free shipping because y'all were nice enough to, it gave us an idea as to how many, to start off with. We just didn't want to, we didn't know how they would do, so we didn't want to sell them and then run out and sell, I just can't stand that. So this way it gave us a good idea as to how many we need, and then we'll go from there. So just watch for an email middle of November, and we'll have them available, and then we'll just have this, you'll just pay shipping on them, okay? but we're excited about those. They're really easy and really fun and, you know, just simple idea. Your ideas. You guys are the ones who give me these ideas. I'm just smart enough to listen to you. How's that? Okay, any questions of what else you want to talk about? We've got a few minutes. We're just having way too much fun. Seattle, I go to Seattle 2 days, 1 day, soon. Can't wait. I love these workshops, you guys. This is our last workshop of the year. It's just been a lot of fun. You know, we haven't done workshops now since COVID or post-COVID. I'm wondering if we really are post-COVID, but that's another debate. But anyway, it's just exciting to get going again and to see people and to go places, and it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. So for all of you who have been in workshops, it's been fun. And we're picking new cities for the spring. We'll probably pick 4 new cities, just cities we haven't even gone to ever before. We just really want to make sure we, you know, get close by your town or somewhere where you can come join us. Okay, are we good? Well, we'll just go to pizza, man. We'll just go out and get drunk, or not, you know. All right, good. So the goal is you understand the dress, you understand everything about it. Just a couple things, like our sew along is a Saturday. All of these patterns have been mailed. The 2 of them together are that 125 and the 1819. They've all been mailed. So you should have them before. The goal is to get them before the sew along so you can sew along with us. And we're going to sew this Saturday, and we'll go, I think it's at 10:30 Central Time. Okay? Hello, enjoy your tutorials. Would like to know what kind of interfacing you use. My featherweight interfacing is not as fluid as what you have on your show. Yeah, you know, I use, so featherweight fusible is typically woven, and that's the key right there. I only will use a knit interfacing. Our fabrics today are so light and so beautiful that when you put a woven to a woven, it doesn't matter how light the woven is, when you fuse a woven to a woven, you just get a rigid result. Whereas when you fuse a knit to a woven, the woven doesn't lose its drape and all the beautiful things about it. So I only use one fusible, and it's a knit fusible, and it's on our website. We sell it. We've sold it for a zillion years. It actually adheres. We've sold it when, you know, many of you were frustrated with what you'd bought because it just didn't adhere. This is a low temp fusible. It's a beautiful product. You'll just have no problem with it, and it adheres really nicely. The dress can be wrapped either direction. Yes, I did wrap either direction purposely, just so you can see it's not a big deal. It can go either way. I'm sure there's probably a right way, but it doesn't make a difference. Would you consider a sew along for 125? Yeah. Yeah, we'd consider a sew along for 125, sure. Can't find 1819 on your website. That's because it's not on our website, so thanks for asking. If you go to Fit to Stitch, it's only on the Fit to Stitch site. The Fit to Stitch, and you hit the donations button. Donations or be a supporter. I can't remember which one, but it's not books, it's not videos, it's not patterns, you know, just one of those two, the end two. You'll see it's on that page. Okay? Okay, so that's the only place. 1819 and 125 are only sold as a pair. They are a PBS fundraiser, and so that's the only place they are, 1819 and 125. And I think we have time for one more sew along. I'm not going to commit to that 125, but I'd like it to be that 125, to be honest. We do have the Toys for Tots sew along that we're going to do the beginning of December, and maybe what we'll do is make it the 125. It's a really easy top to sew. I can certainly understand why you have questions because it is a little different, and so, you know, we can see what we can do. Your wine color top looks wonderful. Oh, thank you. Looks wonderful. Is your belt yes. Yeah, I just bought it. I mean, I bought it a long time ago, but yes. Okay, are we good? All right, so then we are going to say sayonara. I think that means good night, right? And we'll see you on Saturday. So get your patterns, get it all cut out, get your fabric, figure out what you want to do it out of. We're going to really introduce to you where you can do 1819 out of knits or wovens. It's kind of fun because we're going to be able to do both. I even did a version of it can be a fabric that is good on one side or fabric that's not good on one side. I'll show you how to do that. We're just going to have fun. We'll see you Saturday. Happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns. Bye.